We're looking at the desktop of Arc 2, which is one of my Windows Server 2022 machines in my on-premises local environment. So let me sign into the portal here, and I've browsed to Azure Arc. If you type Arc in the Azure portal, you get a whole bunch of Arc-related options. We're just concerned with a subset of Azure Arc functionality. As you can see down here, we have Azure Stack, Kubernetes, SQL servers, Postgres, SQL. There's a lot going on, but we're just interested, as I said, in Azure Arc servers. And as you can see, one of my on-premises machines is already onboarded, and you can see it's represented as an Azure Arc for Servers resource that's in a resource group and tracked in my subscription. And we have the ability to apply taxonomic tags just like we do in Azure. Now, the exam objective here deals with onboarding the server. So let's go to Add, and let's take a look at the options here. Notice that we can add a single server or multiple servers with a PowerShell script. I'd mentioned in the lecture portion that we could use desired state configuration as a way to onboard servers to Azure Arc. We also can use the update management service, although notice that as of this recording in early 2022, it's in public preview. You should know that generally speaking, public preview features are not covered on certification exam objective domains, nor are public preview features normally in scope for Microsoft support. So it's best to use preview features only in a test dev capacity. All right, so let's take a look at the script for a single server. And the way we set this up, first of all, we have to ensure we've got TCP 443 to Azure. We need to be a local administrator on the server. And if we're dealing with proxy and that kind of stuff, we have to keep that in mind, connectivity. I'm just going to go over the public internet endpoint. Let's click Next. I'm going to put this Arc server in my Arc RG resource group. The resource will be in East US. The operating system is Windows. As I said, we're going to use public endpoint. We'll click Next. I'm going to add a taxonomic tag called hostname, Arc2 in this case, and we'll click Next. And here's the actual onboarding script. I'm going to copy this to my clipboard, and then I have VS Code installed on this server. Let me go ahead and create this script file. Let me save it to my desktop. I'll call it Arc onboarding.ps1. Yikes, I'm going to have to pause the video and fix the typeface there. That's not looking so good. Okay, that's a little bit better. So let's come back here to the portal, and let me actually step out of here to show you the add multiple servers. This would be more likely what you'll look into in the real world because you're going to onboard presumably a number of machines rather than just singleton. So if we go to generate script here and click Next, we specify our meta again. And then when we get here, notice that there's an extra step. We need to create a service principal that is represented in our Azure Active Directory. And that service principal needs to be assigned to the Azure Connected Machine onboarding role. Because the idea with a multiple servers to Azure Arc is that we're going to authenticate non-interactively to Azure and bring all of those machines in our local environment into Azure in an automatic, non-interactive way. So that's a good exam alert for you to keep in mind. Let's come back to our PowerShell session here. Let me maximize my view. We don't need to understand everything that's going on in the onboarding script as such. Basically, it's just some simple PowerShell that's going to invoke web request to bring down the MSI package. Actually, it looks like it's a PS1 file. On line 2, we're going to do an invoke web request to bring down the connected machine agent. And then it's just going to run the command, and it has a little bit of error handling logic in it as well, as you can see. Let me open the terminal menu, and let's do a run active file to install the Azure Connected Machine agent on the system. Remember that the difference between the @scale script and the single script is the single script assumes that you're doing this interactively. So we're going to need to do a device code sign-in. Let me copy this code to my clipboard, and we'll open up shortcut. It's aka.ms device login. I'll paste in my device code here, sign in with my current credentials to sign into the Azure Connected Machine Agent service. Okay, I may now close this window, and if we come back to the script, it should complete momentarily. Now we can continue to use this code and just edit it. I would maybe create a function out of it and parameterize it. So you notice that we can change the resource group. We probably don't need to change the Active Directory or Azure Active Directory tenant ID. We may want to create a parameter for location. We may or may not want to create a parameter for our subscription ID. All right, it tells us down at the bottom in the verbose output to view your onboarded server, navigate to your portal, and it gives you a discrete link to the portal, but we don't need that. Let's come back into Edge and let me refresh my view here. So now I have my ARC2 machine connected. So let's select it and let's take a look at some of the Azure Resource Manager settings. Like I said, we have taxonomic tag capability. I just created the host name ARC2 a moment ago.